Hello and welcome to Around the Towns. I'm your host, Dan Murphy, and this episode is a little bit abbreviated. I had an interview with Robin Hunter, but due to technical difficulties, I won't be able to show that. For now, I have an interview with Aaron Gelb, the director of Charles River Creative Arts Program. So let's take a look at that.
My name is Aaron Gelb. I'm the director of the Charles River Creative Arts Program and Creative Starts here at the campus of Charles River School.
Okay, so why don't you tell us exactly what is the Charles River Creative Arts Program?
It's a multi-arts summer camp, summer program. Multi-arts meaning we try to represent as many art forms as possible. The kids take 5 classes a day that they choose for themselves. And they can spend all 5 periods in one art form if they're really into specializing, or they can jump all over the map, do some visual art, do some animation, do some dance, do some media, do some theater, do some sports. It's really the summer of their design, their own design, so they get to be individuals. We celebrate the individual in every child, trying to let them be who they are, celebrate them for who they are, and make sure that we're meeting them on their level in terms of skill. So we're always making it challenging, but also really fun and engaging for them. So it's their summer vacation away from school and a chance to get really deep into discovering themselves through creative experimentation.
Okay, so what are some of these disciplines that they can explore?
Visual arts, 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional, photography, both darkroom and digital. We have a video department where the kids write and produce their own mini movies. Animation, dance, both dance as a part of theater and dance on its own, ballet and jazz dance, Afro-Brazilian dance and tap dance. There's a music department which has both individual instruction on guitar and piano and drums. Also, there's a lot of bands, so no matter what instrument you play, you can join the band. Doesn't matter if it's the wrong instrument. If you play the oboe and you want to join the rock band, then go ahead and do it. And the teachers will find a way to make that work. And the list goes on. We have Aikido, martial art, soapstone carving, a lot of sports classes, swimming classes as well, because it is summertime after all. And everything is by choice for the kids. They get to pick their own schedule, and if a class isn't working out in the first few days, we can switch it for them so that they have exactly the right schedule. Then the other thing you should really know is that at the end of the 4 weeks, each session, we do Festival Day, which is an incredible celebration of all the work that the kids have done throughout the session. So we turn all of these classroom spaces into performance spaces and art exhibits so that we can showcase the work the kids have done. We invite parents, friends and family, and people from the neighborhood to come and check it out, August 16th.
What are some of the highlights of that day?
Well, I personally love to visit the art exhibits because you get to see all of the fantastic art that people have made, the ceramics projects, the photography, everything that people have worked on is presented in an elegant fashion, and that's really a special thing to do. But then, of course, the performances. Out here on the tent stage, we have numerous bands throughout the day, so there's always a lot of rock and roll music playing throughout the camp, which is fantastic. We have the Black Box Theater space where smaller theatrical productions are going to take place all throughout the day. And then finally, over in Foster Hall, which is the big main performance space, we'll be presenting the larger theatrical productions that we've been working on, as well as the dance concert, and one of my favorites, which is rock opera, which is an older kids class where they write and produce their own hilarious musical that usually takes about 45 minutes, and it can be a slightly irreverent, very fun way to see what the older kids have been working on, and they're so smart and talented that it's always a good time. And then in the evening, we have the big production at 8 o'clock. That's really the culmination of the work of a lot of different classes. So you have the 40 or 50 kids that are in the production themselves, but also you'll see the set designed by the set construction class, and you'll see the costumes designed by the costumes class, and the props created by Mad Props class. So it's really the culmination of a lot of different classes, and it's a joy to see everything coming together like that in collaboration.
And how many students do you generally take?
Total, we have 275 in the first session. This session's a little smaller with 240 kids. And then the Creative Starts program, which is down the hill. That's our program for younger kids, age 6 and 7, and some 8-year-olds. That maxes out at 24 kids, and that's all full for the session.
Okay, and then where do all these kids come from?
From the surrounding towns. Needham is the biggest town that supplies kids, but we also have a lot of kids from Newton, Wellesley, Natick, Walpole, Medfield. I mean, basically every surrounding community. Some kids are coming from as far away as Belmont and Arlington because we do have a bus service. Get a few kids from Brookline, so it's a real good cross-section of the local community. We also have some kids coming from the inner city, from Boston, working through some of our agencies that we partner with during the year because we have a lot of financial aid that we award because it's very important to us to make sure that we have a diverse community both ethnically and economically.
And then what's kind of the age range of all the kids?
So Creative Starts, the younger program, is 6, 7, and 8-year-olds, and then CRCAP, Charles River Creative Arts Program, which is the program we saw most of today, is kids who are 8 to 15-year-olds. And once they're 15, that's their last session, and we find a lot of them come back applying to be counselors in training, CITs, and we take as many as we can and encourage them to come on back as alumni later to visit.
Yeah, so what is the student-teacher ratio, roughly?
Roughly, it's about 4 to 1, 4 kids for every staff member.
How diverse is the age groups? Like, is it spread out pretty equally between?
Well, 12 and 13-year-olds are our most populous age. So it is a bit of one of these in the graph. So we have a bunch of 8 and 9 and 10-year-olds, the most 11, 12, and 13-year-olds, and then slightly smaller number of 14 and 15-year-olds. But there's, in each of the age groups, there's quite a few. So whenever a kid comes, they're going to find a lot of people in their age group to make friends with.
Yeah, and then do the different age groups sort of interact a lot?
Absolutely. That's one thing that's special about the program is that there are a few classes that are geared just towards older kids or just towards younger kids. That's really important to allow them to operate at their different skill levels. But generally, most classes are all ages. So what you're going to see is in the same room, you might have a couple 8 and 9-year-olds, some 13 and 14 and 15-year-olds, and then teachers who might range from 18 to 60. So you really have this family environment where it's less about a classroom with a teacher and students, and it's very rigorous that way. It's more of about a collaborative group of people who are all working towards the same thing. We find that the older kids are coaching and teaching the younger kids in their classes, learning how to teach, learning real good life skills in terms of problem solving, because we have that mix of ages. It's a very unique situation that works really well for us.
And then what's some of the background of your staff here?
We have a lot of college students who are pursuing the arts in education, so they're studying their discipline and learning how to teach by being here. We also have a lot of professional artists, people who are active in their trades as dancers, as performers, as graphic designers, who come here for the summer as a sort of way to workshop all their new ideas with the population of kids. So we have a good mix of professional artists, learning artists, and professional teachers.
Okay, that's great. And then what's your background?
My background? I worked here for a lot of years, but I also was a professional saxophonist. Still do it sometimes when I get the time. But for about 15 years, I toured around the country with various different bands, playing my saxophone. I was also an active saxophone teacher. But throughout my entire music career, I was also someone who specialized in education. So I would teach here during the summer, teach privately during the year, teach in high schools as an ensemble conductor. Recently got my master's degree from the New England Conservatory. So that's basically my background.
Okay, and then how you get involved with this program?
With this program, I actually came here as a camper when I was 11 in 1984. Came for about 4 or 5 years, loved it. Didn't just do music, did writing. That's actually a department I missed earlier in the list. Is the writing department is fantastic, and increasingly they're putting a lot of stuff online, which is exciting. But but I loved it here. I did writing, animation, video, some sports, I did some music, and then I became a staff member. I became a CIT, or a counselor in training here, which is really my first teaching experience and where I learned to be a great teacher. Then I left for many years to just pursue my professional interests of teaching music and performing music. In 2000, called up Toby, previous director, and said, "Hey, you got a job for me?" It just so happened they had an opening for me, so I came back then in the year 2000 as a counselor, worked for several years in the music department and the visual art department and the video department, helping out. And then a few years ago, the job of department head opened up for me, and I became the music department head. And then just this past year, when Mike Dakota, the director after Toby, decided to move on to his current position, I decided to apply for this job, and it was a rigorous interview process, but somehow came out on top, and I'm delighted to be here.
Okay. How do people apply to be part of this program?
Oh, it's as simple as just going to the website and hitting the register button.
Mm-hmm.
And if we still have spots, first session filled up, but second session we still have a few available spots, although the session's underway now. It's as simple as that. Just register, leave a deposit, and then once we have your information processed, we send you a course selection guide so you can take a look at all of the different classes that are available. You tick off your first through fourth choices, because we want to know if you don't get into that first choice, we want to come as close to your ideal schedule as possible. We push you in classes, and then you show up the first day, we give you your schedule, and we're up and running. The thing to know about Charles River Creative Arts Program is that we're really geared towards encouraging collaborative creativity and problem solving. Everything we do is about expressing yourself as an individual, but within this spirit of collaboration. We're all working together towards it. So the kids take their classes, and they meet their teachers, and they get in the classroom, and then from the first minute they're off and running, trying to do something that has never been done before, to put their heads together and to celebrate the fact that they're kids. It's the summer. It can be a little chaotic sometimes, but always in a very positive way as they're gearing their energy towards creating something new. And I think personally that creativity that's really the quality that's going to carry with kids into their future as problem solvers. In the job market today, we're really looking at a necessity for being able to think in a new and innovative way. And that's what we try to encourage in the classes, is no matter what you're doing, you're going to be doing it in a little bit of a different way, in a little bit of a weird way maybe, that you're not going to get to experiment with during the year. So we want to use this as a lab for kids to just discover themselves, to discover something exciting and new that they didn't know about themselves as they collaborate with other artists and learn how to make something truly special.
Yeah, so how is your interaction with the community of Dover?
It's been fantastic. There's not too much going on in Dover, so we find that during the summertime, so we find that people are very welcoming. They love coming by to see the show. We get some people from the neighborhood to come and participate on festival day, which is always great to see.
Well, that's great. I don't think I have any other further questions. If there's anything else you want to add, though.
Fantastic. It's a great camp. Lifelong friendships get forged here. I've been here off and on for decades. Some of my teachers that I had back then are still here, and it's a great delight that a lot of my employees now here at the camp are actually former students of mine. So we have that real family atmosphere of intergenerational collaboration where we really all just want to make it special and memorable for the kids.
Yeah, well, I guess I should close by asking where can people find additional information about this?
Go to www.crcap.org or just give us a call.
Okay, great. Well, thanks so much for
Sure.
taking your time to speak to me.
Pleasure to talk to you.
Yep.
To Aaron Gelb, and once again my apologies to Robin Hunter. Thanks so much for tuning in.